He spent 27 years being someone he wasn't, not because he wanted to, but because he was afraid that if people saw who he really was, they'd leave, they'd laugh, or worse, they'd ignore him. But one moment, one small moment, forced him to face the truth, and it changed his entire life. This is Alex's story. And if you've ever felt like you were wearing a mask just to be accepted, stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you might just realize who you really are. Welcome to Wisdom Stories, where timeless truths meet modern lives. Today's video is about one of the deepest questions we'll ever ask. Who am I really? Not who your friends want you to be, not who your job expects you to be, not who your family needs you to be, but you, the real you. We're about to follow Alex's journey, and maybe along the way, you'll see a little of yourself too. Alex was the kind of person everyone liked. Friendly, polite, easygoing. He laughed at the right jokes, showed up to the right events, and never, ever disagreed too loudly. If you asked his coworkers, they'd say he was dependable. If you asked his friends, they'd say he was chill. But no one, not even Alex, could tell you what he truly wanted out of life. Because he didn't know. He had spent so long trying to be what everyone else needed. He never got the chance to ask himself, what do I need? He grew up in a small town where standing out wasn't safe. His parents were hardworking, proud people. They believed in stability, predictability. Don't make waves, his father would say. Just keep your head down and do your job. So Alex learned to adapt. When his friends liked sports, he joined the team. When his girlfriend loved movies, he became a film buff overnight. When his manager needed overtime, Alex never said no. He got good at blending in, and somewhere along the way, forgot how to stand out. But deep down, something felt hollow. Like wearing a costume that looked perfect on the outside, but didn't fit. It wasn't a dramatic unhappiness. It was a quiet ache, a restlessness he couldn't name, a feeling like he was walking through life with the volume turned down, like the color had drained out of the world and he couldn't quite figure out why. Until one rainy afternoon, something happened that cracked it wide open. Alex had just turned 34. He was walking out of a client meeting, umbrella in hand, when he ran into an old friend from college, Maya. She was soaked, laughing, still wild and alive like she used to be. They grabbed coffee, caught up. And when she asked, "So what have you been up to?" Alex recited his usual answer. "Work's been good, got a promotion, still in marketing. Things are stable." But Maya paused, looked at him, and asked a question no one had ever dared to ask. "Are you happy though?" He blinked. "Yeah, I mean, it's fine. You know, life's busy." She smiled gently. "That's not what I asked." That question haunted him for days. Are you happy? Not comfortable, not successful, not admired, happy. He thought about it in the shower, at red lights, during meetings. And slowly, the memories started coming back. Not of achievements or praise, but of the boy he used to be. The one who used to draw for hours. The one who dreamed of writing stories, not sales pitches. The one who once said out loud, "I want to make people feel something," before someone laughed and told him to be realistic. He remembered summer afternoons in his bedroom, sketching until the daylight faded. He remembered how time used to disappear when he was lost in creativity. And he remembered, with a pang, the moment he decided it wasn't practical anymore. He traded color for grayscale, passion for duty, and he didn't even realize it. The truth hit him harder than he expected. He wasn't living his life, he was managing it. He was curating a version of himself that looked good, felt safe, and pleased others. But it wasn't him. So he did something he hadn't done in years. He pulled out an old sketchbook from a dusty box in the closet. The pages were yellowed, curled at the edges. But as he flipped through them, he felt something stir. A flicker. A spark. That night, he stayed up drawing. Not for money, not for likes, not for anyone else. Just for himself. For the first time in years, he felt alive. But awakening isn't a straight line. When he started showing glimpses of this side, the artist, the dreamer, not everyone liked it. Some friends laughed it off. Midlife crisis? One joked. His boss raised an eyebrow when he declined over time to go to a local art show. Even his parents lovingly warned him not to waste time chasing hobbies. And it hurt. But this time, Alex didn't fold. Because now he knew what folding felt like. It felt like sleepwalking. Like editing yourself down until only the expected parts remain. He didn't want to be half a person anymore. So he kept going. He enrolled in a weekend illustration class. He started sharing his sketches online. Quietly, slowly, people started noticing. Not thousands, but a few. And more importantly, he noticed himself. He felt proud, not because someone approved, but because it was real. The turning point came 6 months later. A small gallery reached out after seeing his work online. They offered him a spot in a local exhibit. It wasn't a big deal. It wouldn't change his career, but it was his. And he stood in that room, next to his own framed drawing, and felt something he hadn't felt in decades. He belonged, not as a marketer, not as a placeholder, but as himself. That night he called Maya. She didn't say, "I told you so." She just said, "You look lighter." And he was. Because when you finally stop running from yourself, you stop carrying the weight of pretending. You stop overthinking every word. You stop living for applause and start living from the inside out. And maybe, most importantly, he discovered that the people who truly matter, the real ones, they don't need you to impress them. They need you to be real. Flawed, passionate, uncertain, but honest. The rest, they fade. And that's okay. So what's the takeaway? You don't find your real self in the mirror. You find it in the quiet moments. In late nights when you're doing something just because it feels good. In the tiny choices that reflect your truth, even when no one is watching. You find your real self when you stop asking, "Will they like this?" and start asking, "Do I like this?" The journey back to yourself might be messy. You might lose people. You might disappoint expectations. But what you'll gain is something more precious than approval. You'll gain you. So here's my challenge to you. Tonight, when no one's looking, ask yourself, what did I used to love before the world told me who I had to be? Write it down. Try it again. Even if you're rusty, even if you feel silly, start there. That's your compass. And if you're afraid, remember, the fear is a sign you're getting closer to the truth. Because the scariest step is often the most honest one. If this story moved something in you, don't just scroll away. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more life wisdom stories like this. We're building a space here for real people, on real journeys, just like you. Until next time, stay brave, stay kind, and take care.